Welcome. I'm Doug Morgan, and you're listening to Uncommon Sense, where we hunt for the truth in the topics you're not supposed to talk about, Christianity and politics. Well, welcome once again to FOMO Friday. Yes, every Friday here on the podcast, we like to bring you the stories of the week so you don't experience that fear of missing out because you're not listening to propaganda media anymore. You want to know what's going on, and we are here to help out with that. And of course, Mondays, Wednesdays, we usually cover a topic or whatever, but Fridays, we cover a lot of topics. We're all over the board many times. And oftentimes we start out with a DOGE report as of late. And we kind of do that this week, except instead of talking about how much that DOGE is saving the taxpayers, well, it's a little bit different. On Wednesday night, Elon Musk made it clear that the reason he was leaving his role, leaving the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, project was due to a rule limiting special government employees to 130 days of service rather than any rumored feud with President Donald Trump. Yeah, this week Musk publicly criticized the tax spending package championed by Trump by saying, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, he said, which increases the budget deficit, not just decreases it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing. So he actually said that, and so there was some rumor that maybe he was leaving because of that. But Musk's departure from government work coincides, as I said, with the recent remarks, and he indicated that he would focus more on his business ventures. Quote, as my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. The DOGE mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout the government, unquote. DOGE claims it has saved American taxpayers $175 billion. That's with a B, $175 billion through a combination of asset sales, contract and lease cancellations, and other renegotiations and things like that. Even fraud and improper payment deletions, grant cancellations, even interest savings. There have been problematic changes in the way government does its things and whether or not it's efficient or not, regulatory savings, and workforce reductions. All of those things under DOGE. Earlier this week, in an interview published in Ars Technica, Musk stated that, quote, I think I probably did spend a bit too much time on politics. It's less than people would think, but the media is going to overrepresent any political stuff because political bones of contention get a lot of traction in the media. It's not like I left the companies. It was just relative time allocation that probably was a little too high on the government side, and I've reduced that significantly in recent weeks. Musk had a significant impact on the 2024 election, of course. After buying Twitter, he opened it far more to the right-wing views, and I would say that he basically just opened it up to be more free speech, and because it was so heavily leftist, and the right side of things was being so canceled out and prohibited, that it kind of seemed like he opened it up more to right-wing views. As the SAIS review of the International Affairs noted, quote, according to a survey by the Pew Research Center, over half of U.S. adults, that's 54%, consume news from social media. X stood out for having the most balanced political affiliation distribution, with 48% of its users leaning Republican and 47 Democrat. Moreover, when it comes to politics, X stands out with 59% of the X users following politics or political issues on the platform. Now, additionally, Musk was the largest individual donor to the Trump campaign, contributing more than $250 million through political action committees and endorsing Trump after the assassination attempt at the Pennsylvania rally. And we'll keep an eye on things. Obviously, he's not going to go away entirely. I would say he did somewhat of heroic work here. I mean, he didn't make a dime. In fact, he lost a lot of money to do what he did. With especially if you consider the stock options and things that he has, and how Tesla and some of the other companies have gone down because of his political involvement. He has lost money doing this, but he didn't do it for the money. Obviously, he did it because this was the right thing to do, to develop a committee, a commission, that would go in and take a look at wasteful and fraudulent spending, and so my hat's off to him, and I know he's not going to go away entirely. I'm sure he's going to be there to talk to Trump and to advise him in many different ways, but he has to officially go ahead and resign the DOGE side of things because of the law. Well, let's take a look at our next story here, and it kind of consumes about 3 different stories in one. And it basically covers, I'm going to title it Bad Mayors, because there are some mayors out there that are acting really bad. One of them is in Colorado Springs. A black media personality was convicted last week of faking a hate crime against Colorado Springs Mayor Yemi Moblade, who ginned up votes for him with the ringleader Derek Bernard testifying that Mobley was in on the hoax, and the FBI testifying that the mayor misled agents about the contact with Bernard. Well, Mobley, who is a Nigerian, won the election as a left-leaning independent in the traditional Republican stronghold in 2023 after the N-word was scrawled on one of his campaign signs and a cross set ablaze in front of it. Video of the scene was, of course, sent to media. That was very, just happened. Somebody happened to be there, right? And that resulted in a swell of sympathy for him. And of course, he ended up winning. And now, guess what? It was all a hoax designed to get him votes. So again, here's a prominent black person who is having to fake hate crimes in order to, get popularity or whatever the case may be. There's just not that many hate crimes out there, and so they have to kind of make up, some to promote themselves. But that's not the only one. Here's one from Nashville. Nashville's Democratic mayor released the names of multiple federal law enforcement agents with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's ICE, drawing ire from the Department of Homeland Security and Senator Marsha Blackburn, who say that the mayor is putting law enforcement at risk. Yeah, he's doxing ICE. Mayor Freddie O'Connell's office released information on interactions between ICE agents and the Nashville Emergency Service personnel, dropping data that included the names of federal law enforcement personnel. O'Donnell says their names were released by mistake. But the Department of Homeland Security isn't convinced of that. Quote, they claimed it was a mistake. There's zero chance it was a mistake, and there will be repercussions. That's a quote from DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, charged and charged in response to the incident that, quote, our ICE enforcement officers are already facing a 400% increase in assaults against them, and he's essentially handing over intelligence to these criminal gangs so they can target our ICE enforcement officers. It's wrong, and it's beneath the city of Nashville. The Nashville mayor is protecting illegal aliens and gang members over his constituents, they say. And the doxing of the federal agents by O'Donnell's office comes just after Congressman Andy Ogles, he's the Republican from Tennessee, confirmed that the House Judiciary Committee and Homeland Security launched investigations into O'Connell, who condemned ICE after agents carried out enforcement operations in Nashville and signed an executive order requiring city officials to report any correspondence with ICE agents. Of course, they did, and then that was publicly announced who those agents were, by mistake, right? Senator Marsha Blackburn, of course, also the Republican from Tennessee, blasted O'Connell, accusing him of putting ICE agents and law enforcement in harm's way by releasing their names for criminal gangs to see. She says that these men, this is a quote, these men and women have risked their lives to make our communities safer by removing gangs, rapists, and other heinous criminals from our communities. Shame on him, she says, and yeah, I would agree. An executive report from the Daily Wire revealed that of the 196 illegal aliens arrested by ICE in Nashville in a week-long raid, 95 of the 196, so almost half, had prior criminal convictions or pending criminal charges. So you had almost half of those that were removed should have already been removed because they were already committing crimes, but not turned over to ICE, of course. Included in the nearly 200 illegal aliens arrested by ICE in Music City are sex offenders, convicted rapists, Trinidad de Agua, and MS-13 members, and drug runners, as well as 31 people who re-entered the United States after previously being deported. And it's, of course, a felony offense. But O'Connell's not the only mayor who is up to no good. In fact, if you're a Christian, this is a little disturbing. After leftist radicals, some clothed in black and wearing masks, attacked a Christian rally in Seattle on Saturday, Mayor Bruce Harrell issued a statement in which he condemned the Christian organizers of the event. Yeah, can you? I mean, the rally in Cal Anderson Park, described by Harrell as Seattle's most prominent LGBTQ plus neighborhood, prompted the arrest of at least 22 people. This is what Fox 13 reported, and which added Mayor Harrell is now directing the Parks Department to review the circumstances of the rally organizer's application. Yeah, the church, right? Mayday USA, the rally's organizer, is reportedly described as a faith-based activist group that calls on Christians to speak out against abortion, child trafficking, and perceived moral decline of society. Yeah, it sounds like this is a really bad organization, right? Because they are just into some terrible things, like fighting back against abortion, child trafficking, moral decay, that type of thing. In the wake of Saturday's altercation, Harrell released the following statement in which he called the service a, quote, far-right rally, unquote, and declared there was an extreme right-wing national effort to attack our trans and LGBTQ plus communities, unquote. This guy's a piece of work. Seattle is proud of our reputation as a welcoming, inclusive city for LGBTQ plus communities, and we stand with our trans neighbors when they face bigotry and injustice. Today's far-right rally was held here for this very reason, to provoke and a reaction by promoting beliefs that are inherently opposed to our city's values in the heart of Seattle's most prominent LGBTQ plus neighborhood. Yeah. Well, when the humanity of trans people and those who have been historically marginalized is questioned, we triumph by demonstrating our values through our words and peaceful protest. Yeah, peaceful protest, right? Did you get that? Peaceful protest. We lose our voice when this is disrupted by violence, chaos, and confusion. Well, anarchists infiltrated the counter protesters group and inspired violence, prompting the Seattle Police Department to make arrests and ask organizers to shut down the event early, which, of course, they did. This is Antifa, of course, that's doing this. While there are broad First Amendment requirements around permitting events under free speech protections, it says, I am directing the Parks Department to review all of the circumstances, this is the mayor, all of the circumstances of this application to understand whether there were legal location alternatives. So in other words, they should have gone to a different park, or other adjustments that could have been pursued, like just shutting it down altogether. The police department will complete an after-action report of this event, including understanding preparation, crowd management tactics, and review of arrests and citations. I am grateful for those who make their voices heard in support of our neighbors without resorting to violence in the face of an extreme right-wing national effort to attack our trans and LGBTQ plus communities. Seattle will continue to stand unwavering in our embrace of diversity, love for our neighbors, and commitment to justice and fairness. Well, one of the participants in the rally, Russell Johnson, the lead pastor at Pursuit Northwest, wrote on X that Harrell had claimed he was targeted because he was biracial. Yeah, noting that the mayor of Seattle tries to reach out to me via back channels. I told his folks, I'm happy to talk, after he apologizes and retracts his bigoted statement about people of faith. Crickets, he says. Now he releases a statement saying he is being intimidated because he is biracial. That's how you know we are winning. He's right. That's how you know his resignation is impending. Newsflash, Mayor of Seattle, you attacked us in public, and you will be held to account in public. If you want to talk, me and 1,000 others will be on your doorstep Tuesday at 5 p.m. It said. So anyway, this is these are bad mayors. Okay, these are mayors who are doing bad things and unconstitutional things in some cases, and just bigoted things in others, and they need to be held accountable. They need to have the light of day shown upon them, and that's what we're doing here. So, but that's not all what's happening. I guess it was a couple weeks ago now, we did a podcast on the Job Corps and what's happening at the Job Corps, and there's not good things happening at the Job Corps. Let's spoiler alert, right? But there is some good things happening to the Job Corps. The Department of Labor said Thursday that it will begin a phased pause of an almost $2 billion federal jobs training program that has persisted since 1964, despite a dubious record. The Job Corps houses a mix of runaway teens and 20-something ex-cons in residential campuses where 16 to 24-year-olds are paid to receive their GED diplomas and training in several trades. And for decades, there has been evidence of monetary incentives and have led to fraud with contractors who get paid bonuses for recruiting students and for having positive job placement statistics. In other words, cooking the books to misrepresent post-graduation job outcomes and tolerating criminal behavior on campuses to avoid the loss of federal dollars that would come from expulsions. So, in other words, they didn't want to say what's going on because they didn't want to have to kick people out and lose the dollars that come with them. They would set up kind of bogus job opportunities that ended really quick with contractors to say, hey, look, these guys are getting jobs when they really weren't. Contractors including large for-profit companies operate 99 of the Job Corps' 131 facilities, which collectively house 25,000 students. Those contracts were terminated for convenience on Thursday, with the contractors beginning to mobilize students safely to their home of record by June 30th. The Labor Department said that campuses operated by government entities such as the Department of Agriculture are not affected by the pause. Now, the Daily Wire actually reported in April that the Job Corps spends up to $764,000 per graduate. Yeah, that is like $750,000 per graduate, while participants go on to earn $17,000 annually. One third of the students typically just simply disappear from the program. 1/3 are expelled for serious misconduct and that type of thing. And that's with them trying not to expel people. And the remaining third actually do graduate. The Labor Department said it is not eliminating the Job Corps, which, of course, only Congress can do that, but that finances dictated ending the contracts. And it said the program was operating at a $140 million deficit last year, and that the Biden administration paused operations at 2 campuses as a result of that. And the deficit was projected to grow to $213 million this year. That's the deficit. It also said the program is failing students, with the post-program wages of participants hovering barely above the poverty line. So you go to Job Corps, you get training, you get your GED, and then you come out of it, and you're barely above the poverty line, despite an average cost per student higher than that of Harvard University. Quote, considering only 2 out of every 5 participants actually graduate from the program, this is a massive amount of money being spent with little results, the statement said. And Job Corps critics have long pointed out that GEDs and vocational training are available for free in most locations through public school programs, public school systems and unions and that type of thing, and that many people who signed up for the Job Corps were simply looking for a $1,200 stipend and free room and board. So the Department of Labor said it will cover costs for students to return home and connect them with other existing job and training opportunities. And the department also said the model of housing 16 to 24-year-olds, many of whom had criminal records, together was, put them all together was harming children. Quote, our nation's vulnerable young adults deserve better, it said. And according to data obtained by the Daily Wire, more than 500 sexual assaults have been reported at Job Corps facilities in just the last 3 years alone. Then there were 4,600 reported violent assaults and 8,000 drug-related incidents over the past 3 years. That's all in the past 3 years. Those numbers likely are, of course, significantly understated in reality, since only the most severe incidents are recorded. And Democrats have introduced legislation in recent years to further tolerate bad behavior at Job Corps centers by making it more difficult to expel people. Although the program's intent was to take youth from the margins of society and get them on the straight and narrow, over time the dominant culture of Job Corps campuses became so heavily gang ridden that participants said that it was more likely to turn a good kid bad than the reverse. So the Inspector General report found that Job Corps graduates often wound up in fast food jobs that did not require, of course, any training. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that this is being put on pause at this point, and hopefully maybe permanently put on pause. But I wanted to bring you just a bit of news here from the celebrity side of things, and this comes from the Duck Dynasty guys. The Duck Dynasty star Willie Robertson shared an emotional Instagram post about his late father, Phil Robertson, who, of course, died on Sunday at the age of 79. Willie's post included a montage of his father and him, and revealed the last thing that Phil said to Willie before his death. Quote, "I remember Phil's many prayers on Memorial Day and all the times with my dad. I don't have enough words to tell of all of it. Perhaps it will take months or years of remembering," the post began. It also said, "Looking back at pics, I noticed he was always looking at me funny, trying to figure out, how did this boy turn out like this?" I remember in 8th grade bringing my boombox in the living room and doing a breakdance routine for him as he sat in his recliner, and he just looked strangely at me and said, "Well, I've never seen anything quite like that." I took it as a compliment, he said. Willie next recalled dancing again in front of his dad at very end of his life. Said, "Maybe I figured it was the last thing that he would think I would do, so I just did it." The Duck Dynasty alum next reflected on his father's faith and legacy. He was a very strong Christian, and he says that he taught me many things in life, and most without ever saying a word. I watched him and knew he had figured out so many things. Most importantly, he taught me the value of sharing my faith with others. He was the real deal, the same on Sundays as Fridays. Most of our conversations were not about hunting or business, but about sharing the gospel, the Instagram post continued. And he also said the last words that he said to me as I leaned down over his weakened body was, "You're my brother." It made total sense to me. He always told me we were co-workers in the kingdom of God. Maybe that's why I always just called him Phil. Not sure if he is up in heaven now doing his own dance moves for our Father. It's what Willie wrote. But he said that he concluded with words of thanks for his late father, and just saying that the reality that thank you for raising me the right way and teaching me the most important lesson to prepare me for the day you passed on. Not sure how people deal with loss without the Lord. We may be wrong about all of this, but I doubt it. Sleep well, Dad. Can't wait to see you. And so, yeah, Phil was an avid outdoorsman who invented his first duck call in 1972, actually. And of course, decades later, Duck Commander became a multi-million-dollar business and was featured in the show Duck Dynasty, which aired for 11 seasons between 2012 and 2017. It became one of the most watched reality shows on TV ever. And I wanted to just kind of conclude here with, I like to bring you something funny. I don't know how funny this is, but it's a little humorous because there are people that you just wonder how they operate without a brain. I mean, Michelle Obama being one of those. Former First Lady Michelle Obama said that a woman's unique ability to grow a human life inside her body is the least of what the reproductive system is for. I mean, how many... Yeah, Obama, of course, the prominent Democrat and supporter of abortion, discussed her thoughts during an episode of her IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson podcast on Wednesday. And the becoming author said that the frustrating thing is that the issue has been reduced to a question of choice, as if that's all that women's health is. Wow. She goes on to make some just stunning things. I mean, I wish we had time to cover them all, but safe to say that this woman, we already know that she's not very happy. We already know that she's constantly mad and all this kind of stuff. She's just not a happy person. But beyond that, we now know she doesn't really have much of a brain. I mean, seriously, this, I don't like to call names or that type of thing, but you have to call a spade in this case. She just doesn't understand reality. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. I'm sure you can look at more of her quotes and that type of stuff, but it's just bad. When you say things like this, you just don't understand reality. And that's I guess is probably the best way to put it. But anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on this kind of stuff. Maybe even things on Duck Dynasty and Phil and maybe some thoughts there, and what maybe some of his best episodes were with him in it, or whatever the case may be. I'd love to hear from you on it. Of course, you can always do that at uncommonsensepodcast.com. We're right now on YouTube, of course. As of the beginning of the year, we started on YouTube. Love to have you subscribe there and give us a thumbs up, share, and all that kind of stuff. And thank you for listening. This podcast is a production of Morganite Communications.